So the webinar started. All right. Everybody, let's welcome Charlie Hart. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce Charlie Hart, who is a professional speaker with more than 20 years of HR experience. As someone who is neurodivergent, bisexual, and gender non-conforming, Charlie advocates for acceptance, compassion, and inclusion for all kinds of mind. Beyond lived experience, Charlie brings strong professional expertise, including postgraduate certificate in personal management, diploma in human resources, associate membership of the CIPD, membership of the Institute of Equality and Diversity Professionals, professional membership of the Professional Speaking Association. Drawing on her neurodivergent experience alongside deep knowledge of HR, employment, legislation, and inclusive best practices, Charlie delivers engaging and impactful talks. Her session blend humor with authentic, artistic quirkiness, offering honest reflections on challenges and strengths, adversity and resilience, and practical takeaways that cut through today's polarized conversations. So Charlie brings a heartfelt, insightful approach that resonates and leaves a lasting impact. So let's all welcome Charlie again. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Manisha. It's lovely to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. I am going to share a few slides, hopefully not too wordy, and I'm aim to keep this quite engaging. So please do type away in the chat as we go along, but there will be time for questions and answers and discussion at the end as well. So I'm just going to share some slides. So hopefully you can see my title slide. I
Yes,
am
all
Charlie
good.
Hart. You can see that, great. And hopefully captions at the top as well for those who need them, although they are built into Zoom as well. So I've turned off my Zoom ones so I don't see it twice. So my name's Charlie Hart. I'm also known as Awesome Charlie with an AU for autistic, and I'll tell you how that came about. And as Manisha said, I'm a professional speaker and content creator with a 20-year background in HR. I'm multiply neurodivergent, I'm autistic, I have ADHD and complex PTSD. So I talk about my lived experience of neurodivergence. But what sets me apart from many of my competitors is my background in HR, but also my sense of humour as well. I'm a bit of a rock star too, so it's all part of my brand. So I'm going to talk today about how I've cultivated a brand while staying true to myself and how I've grown my platform on LinkedIn, but not just about the numbers, but also about who. So it's very intentional. Everything that I do is intentional. So in 2018, I discovered that I'm autistic and I learned about the neurodiversity paradigm. And what that tells us is that every human brain and mind is unique, like a fingerprint. We each one of us think, feel, and process uniquely. And not only that, but it's an advantage in a population. So that could be all of humanity, or it could be a team, or a department, or a workforce. But things that I'd struggled with for a long time and not knowing why, I realized were very much part of my identity. So I started to talk about autism acceptance and inclusion at work and the broader neurodiversity acceptance and inclusion. So this is understanding and accepting and celebrating even that every human brain and mind is wired differently, that we each have different strengths and challenges. So that became my niche. I'd worked in HR systems for 15 years. And 5 years after that, I decided to quit HR and do this all the time. So when I first discovered I was autistic, I created a social media presence under the name Awesome Charlie with an AU for autistic, because that acknowledged that I'm autistic and that I'm positive about it. And AU is it's the chemical symbol for gold. And also the autism acceptance symbol is a gold infinity. So it all kind of ties in neatly together. And I've put a light bulb on this slide because to me it wasn't just gaining a label. It was like I'd struggled in the dark for a really long time, not knowing who I was and why I was struggling. And I realizing I was autistic was like a light bulb moment for me. So I decided that I wanted to go into speaking publicly and professionally and writing content, and that my broad niche was neurodiversity. And but beyond that, I would look at the things that make me different from every other speaker about neurodiversity. So I chose my brand. Yes, I'd got Awesome Charlie. I'd got my Gold Infinity. I've weaved all that in. But also I do identify as disabled. Yes, I get lots of strengths from being autistic and having ADHD, but there are also things that make my life harder. And therefore I do fit within the definition of disabled. So I've taken the purple colour, which is part of the disability acceptance rainbow, what are they called? Sorry, the badges with the ribbons, that's it. And it's also part of the bisexual pride flag because I'm also bisexual. So my colours, my brand is kind of it's drawing on various bits of imagery that already exist in the area that I'm operating in. But to me, it works really well because I have a lot of sensory issues and I can't look at very sort of white and glaring slides. So I brought these colours into my slides and my infographics, and I find them sensory friendly. It's the sort of dark muted purple and black, but then with the gold text, there's still the clear colour contrast. So that makes it more inclusive for people with sight challenges or dyslexia. Anything else where poor color contrast would be an issue, but it's also sensory friendly for me and many of my autistic neurokin, others whose brains are wired like mine. So I grew my brand. It started on Twitter. And Awesome Charlie on Twitter, it's really where I started to explore talking about my autism and learning from other adults who are autistic or otherwise neurodivergent. From there, I created a Facebook page, Awesome Charlie, and I would blog there, but also I would share content that resonated, that was made by other people. And it's still I'm still in my Facebook page really often, but it hasn't grown like my LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, what I found is that because I talk about my experiences and I have that HR background, and I'm building a network with many HR professionals and many in the equality and diversity and inclusion space, that has grown really quickly. That said, I will never be a mega influencer because when I'm building my network, I'm thinking about how it can serve me. So on LinkedIn now, I have 23,000, I'm coming up to 23,000 followers. And most of those are people who are interested in neurodiversity or autism, or they work in human resources, or they work in equality, diversity, and inclusion. And that's globally as well. So I'm connecting with other people that are interested in my field, but not just in the UK where I'm based, but also all over the world. Particularly, I have a lot of followers in America and people that I collaborate with in Australia, but I'm trying to build this global reach. So it's fantastic working with people today from Graphy and liaising with people in India because I really want the Indian subcontinent and Asia as a whole to be part of my reach. My only kind of proviso is that I'm only looking at people that are interested in diversity and inclusion. and human resources and workplace culture. So I've deliberately kept my influencer status micro, and that means that I'm caring very much about who I'm talking to rather than how many. So, yes, it is still a bit of a numbers game because what I find with LinkedIn is that if you start to have a sizable network, that more people see your content and more people interact with it, and then the people that interact with them will see it. So the increase in reach is kind of exponential. So it is a bit of a numbers game, but I'm not interested in hitting 100,000 followers or anything like that. It's far more about who sees it. So it has to be people who are either in my niche, working in my niche, or that are potential clients or could benefit from what I'm sharing. Because it isn't all about business. I want to help people. It's I want to promote acceptance and inclusion of all kinds of minds across all areas of society. So if I look at my LinkedIn statistics, for example, what I see is that I've got people that run their own businesses. So they will come up if I look at the analytics by job title, I see founders there and co-founders. I see CEOs and directors. So a lot of that is people like me that run their own business. But I also see a lot of HR and diversity and inclusion related job titles. So I am attracting people that I want to work with and collaborate with, and that we can learn mutually from each other. And I'm attracting potential clients as well. So my network will serve me. Everything is intentional here. So I would suggest that if you're playing the numbers game and chasing macro or micro or mega influencer status, that you really need to think about what matters to you, what will serve you for your personal goals, for your business goals. It is a popularity contest, or is it about credibility? So I am quite popular within my niche, but I'm far more interested in whether the content that I'm creating is actually credible and it's helping people and bringing clients into my business. Is it about virality? Do I want 1,000 views? Or is it about insight? Do I want to show people that I know what I'm talking about and that I would be a good person to work with or a good person to speak at their organization about neurodiversity inclusion or any of the other things that I speak about? Do I want to be famous or well known for quality? And importantly, what's my unique selling point? So I've got a few. I differentiate from others in this really crowded and competitive market because I've got that HR background, because of my unique blend of characteristics. I mean, there are lots of people who are autistic and ADHD with complex PTSD, but when you look at the bigger picture of me and who I am, the whole person, then you'll also see that I play bass and sing in a band, that I am also a parent of neurodivergent kids. So I'm a working mum of neurodivergent kids, and that's a really interesting angle as well for workplaces to cover. And I'm also a bereaved mother. So I did have a viral post once on LinkedIn. It went all over the world and it had over 1 million views, but I deleted it because it was a post about losing my son, who was also autistic. And it attracted a lot of attention all over the world, and some of the comments were not entirely helpful. And so I freaked out and deleted the whole post. So it really isn't about virality to me. So what matters to you? Do you just want to be famous and win the numbers game at all costs, or is it more important to be authentic to your values and who you are as a person and what your businesses are trying to achieve? do you want to churn out post after post so that you are working the algorithm with the consistent production of content? Or is it more important that the content that you do produce is high quality? So LinkedIn is my shop window. This is where people are going to see me and think about whether they want to work with me, whether they want to hire me as a speaker. So I cannot just pump out any old rubbish on a daily basis just to grow my reach. It really wouldn't serve me. So, but this is, I have to think about why. What am I trying to achieve? So some people that are trying to get a really big network, whether it's on LinkedIn or YouTube or anywhere else, it's because they want to make money through monetization, whether it be based on views or based on advertising or any other means. But I'm not looking for that. I am using my social media to make an income, but that's because I'm using it to promote my business. So every piece of content that I'm putting on LinkedIn, it needs to look professional. It needs to show that I know what I'm talking about. And that can be a combination of sharing my own insights and my own lived experience, or sharing information from my own research that I think is really credible and helps to move the neurodiversity movement forwards. So, and I do it in a careful way. I use those coloured brandings, and I also make sure that if I'm posting video content, that it's clear that I'm well lit, that I am clearly audible. So I've got my carefully curated background here. If you can see, this is not a Zoom background. This is actually my office wall. So it has a rainbow painted on it, which ties in with my LGBTQIA plus messages. And I'm well lit by a ring light and an overhead light, and I'm using a professional microphone. So if people watched my videos to decide whether they would like me to speak at their event online, they know that I can do it and that it's very slick and professional. They can see my slides and my infographics, and they know that they look good and that they're inclusive. So think about how you're using your content. For me, it's my shop window. It's showcasing what I can do, how I come across, and how insightful I am, how I'm not going for sensationalist takes on anything. It's all about the credible product or service that I offer. So, how are you using your content? Are you showing people your products and services and what you can offer? Uh, I'd hope so, but also people buy from people. So, it's really important that you're showing a bit of yourself. So, when I show up on social media, I am, yeah, I'm not that slick and polished. I'm usually stimming. My hands are pretty noisy. I'm often playing with a bracelet. I'm my hair's usually a bit messy, but my makeup's all done and everything. I think about how I'm coming across, and I share a little bit of myself. Sometimes I'm touching on difficult themes, so I'm careful that I'm not doing a trauma dump and triggering people too much. But I also want people to know that I'm human and vulnerable, and that when I say that I'm autistic and have ADHD and that I identify as disabled, that you couldn't just say that I obviously come across well and I'm eloquent and I can speak and therefore I'm not actually disabled, that there's nothing wrong with me. So I do try to show both sides. I show about how the things that I'm good at, but also the things that I struggle with, and the strategies for helping me to succeed. So it needs to share the vulnerability, not just, it shouldn't just be an advert for how awesome we are, because that isn't really helping people that are struggling with that neurotype, with that disability. And how I build my LinkedIn, I'm constantly evolving this, but it needs to represent who I am and what my values are. So often I am seen wearing either a bi pride flag or an LGBT pride rainbow umbrella or something like that in the profile picture, but I do change it up quite constantly. And my banner section, it usually says something about me as well. So if it's April and it's Autism Acceptance Month, I will often have there an autism acceptance infinity symbol, and I'll put Autism Awareness Month, but then cross out awareness because it's not enough, and I'll write acceptance, and then I'll cross that out as well, and say autistic celebration because that's what I'm going for. I want people like me and others like me to be celebrated for who we are, not just tolerated. So I use that banner section as kind of a post to promote where I'm at in a particular month. And this month, I'm talking a lot about how I'm in a band and that I am smashing stereotypes of autism by being confident on the stage and being able to perform in front of people. So I've carefully worked out how to explain who I am and what I stand for in such a way that isn't really wordy by putting my identities, LGBT, autistic, neurodivergent, ADHD, there in the headline, but also my HR background and my HR qualifications, because that's what differentiates me from others in the same business. And then I've made sure that my company website is linked and that you can see that I run my own business, Awesome Charlie Limited. So that's in my career history, but then I've chosen to show it at the top, and the CIPD qualifications as well. So it's who I am, what I talk about, where I differentiate, the name of my own business, my professional credibility, and the link to my website. But then in the about section, so many of us, when we join LinkedIn, their about section looks like a CV. Uh, but that's the first thing that people will read if they get past the headline. And really, it isn't meant to be a CV. It's meant to be about who we are. It's like an introduction. It's like a short bio. So there I'm again talking about what I do, what my service is, and also why I'm qualified to do that. And then a little bit about my why as well, because that's that human element that will really appeal to a lot of people. And then a lot of people don't use this, but the featured section on LinkedIn is where a lot of my direct inquiries come from. I get about 40% of my speaking work through speaker agencies, and about 60% of it by people seeing my LinkedIn and then messaging me or booking time in my calendar. And they can see my speaker profile and my show reel and my Calendly link from this featured section. And when they look at that, they can see what I come across like as a speaker, and they know how to get in touch with me and get time with me to meet me and talk about whether I want to come and speak at their event. So this is a really powerful showcase for me. And it's towards the top of LinkedIn. You can add website links, you can add LinkedIn posts, you can add a graphic. It's really, really flexible with what you can put there, and you can reorder them as well. So, and then in the experience section, when I joined LinkedIn, I still worked in HR. So it did read like a CV. I was HR analyst at the Solicitors Regulation Authority, and I listed some of my main accomplishments and some of my main duties. Now that I'm a professional speaker, I thought, you know what, it's not that relevant. I want people to see my career history, but they don't need to know the ins and outs. So without scrolling or looking for more, they can see at a glance that I'm a speaker, I'm in a band, and that I've got 20 years experience as an HR analyst. So just put things in there that are relevant. Don't make it reflect your CV. And then this is another way that I really stand out from the crowd, I think. And I've got loads of my friends here on this call who would validate this. So when we start our own business, many of us do it because we're fed up with teamwork and working on a shared mission and goal in some corporate, and we want to do our own thing. Now, that is true of me partially, but what I've found is that since I've become self-employed, I have been working with others more than anything. So, although I thought I was a bit of a lone wolf because I didn't really fit in corporate HR, although I was successful there for 20 years, what I'm actually finding is that I'm working with other people and signal boosting them, and they are signal boosting me, and we're collaborating together. And I'm becoming parts of various different communities and collectives. And the more that I've done that, the more successful I've been. And it's partly altruistic because I want to see different people with many different characteristics really get on in this field, particularly if there's an intersectional marginalized characteristic. So I will always signal boost, for example, trans people and particularly Black women and other racialized groups who are not always getting into the rooms. So I've got friends who I would recommend to do a closing keynote at a conference I'm involved with, even if I want it myself. And it's because I want their voices heard. If I speak at a conference, I will ask them if they need any other speakers, and I will actively recommend my friends if they are good. And they do the same with me. And what we've found is that we can rise together. And the beauty of that as well, when you're growing a social media presence, is that then organically comment on each other's posts, which increases their reach. So I am completely smashing the stereotype about autistic people not playing well with others by smashing it for me and for my network as well. So this is from the Professional Speaking Association, and I'm starting to get a global presence there as well. And the Speakers Collective, which is mainly in the UK, although they have American clients, but also the global HR community, especially the free thinking, trailblazing people that are actually evolving HR and making a positive change. And yes, we engage with each other, and not just a quick thumbs up. We engage with each other by commenting and sharing and also working together. And what we find is that this really signal boosts us. So my platform is growing, and so is that of the people that I work with, which then means when they comment on my posts, they will have more people following them who will see their comments. And it's not quite exponential, but you see the circles are just constantly expanding because of this approach. But everything we do is intentional. We're never going to be putting rage bait and clickbait posts to get lots of views and picking arguments in order to annoy people so that we get lots of views, because it's all about showcasing who we are and what we do and what our values are and what's important to us. So I'm often asked to promote products, services, and other speakers who I don't know a lot about. And I would do that, but I have to first make sure that I'm actually happy with it and that it is something that I would throw my support around. So you would never catch me promoting a product or service if I know nothing about it or if it doesn't sit well with me. I've just been asked to promote some fidget toys, and it's a really cool fidget toy that I've got. But they gave me a script to go with it, and I care very much about how I come across. And me being very authentic and true to myself. So, although I like the product, it's a little bit noisy. I will promote it in my own way, using my own words or not at all. So, I have to stick with that. And then if people see that I am promoting something, they know it must be good. So I'm here today speaking at a webinar organised by Graphy. And if I didn't think they were good, I wouldn't be here. So I have taken the opportunity to create a Graphy account, and I'm using it as an online learning platform. And I'm only just getting started with it, but I can already see how powerful this is going to be. So, reasons that I'm looking for something like this is my work is really seasonal. So, I'm super busy in Autism Acceptance Month in April. I hardly get any work in January, February, July, August. So my income fluctuates as a business. So I need a recurring revenue stream. So if I'm delivering a presentation or a course, then I need somewhere to put it that people can access it throughout the year and I can get that revenue stream. And some of my clients want pre-work or refresher training. So I'm thinking of putting that there as well. But that's enough about me. I will be back shortly for questions and answers and discussion, but I'd like to bring back Manisha, who knows a lot more about Graphy than I do. But
Yes.
firstly, actually, I've also given you my QR codes if you want to follow me on LinkedIn or Substack, which is where I do my multimedia newsletter, or YouTube, which is pretty small, but I'm trying to grow it. So thank you. Over to you, Manisha.
Uh, thank you, Charlie. That was a really, really great session. And to everyone, if you have any questions, we have a small box around the bottom, a Q&A box where you can drop all of your questions, and we'll be back in about few minutes right after we talk on the Power 20 bootcamp. But before that, Charlie, I just would like to share something. So I myself am a bit ADHD, and I would say
Woohoo.
I have OCD as well. So I truly believe in what you say, and I relate to a lot of few points that you have mentioned in the session. And it's really nice to know that it's not just, you're not alone. And I do fidget with a
Fantastic.
lot of things as well myself personally, and I just keep thinking about, oh my god, what would everybody else would think, and like keep overthinking about certain things like a
Yeah.
lot of times. So I understand.
That's really important to share because, I'm in a bubble here, really, in the UK, because we're quite ahead in terms of neurodiversity inclusion and autism acceptance. And my whole family is some kind of neurodivergent, and I have many neurodivergent friends. But I need to bear in mind the intersectionality and the
Yeah,
cultural differences, and the fact that there's still so much stigma, particularly in other parts of the world.
yeah. Yes, I understand that. And thank you so much again for this amazing session. So, Graphy team will be screen sharing the bootcamp deck in a minute. Just 1 second.
I'm going to pop my reading glasses on and read the chat. I don't read it while I'm
Yes.
presenting because it's too distracting.
All
Oh,
right.
loads of my friends were here.
Yes. So here we have the deck. So I would like to welcome everyone. So this is the Power 20 Bootcamp. This program is designed to help you build a strong foundation and grow your digital business with expert guidance and proven strategies. So the faces you see are some of the experts and mentors you'll be learning from. Next slide. Yes, the bootcamp follows a simple, effective five-step process to get you from an idea to a full-fledged launch. First step, you learn from our industry experts in a comprehensive workshop. Step two, you'll get access to powerful tools from Graphy. Step three, you'll gain hands-on experience with personalized expert support. Step four, you'll set up your platform using Graphy's tool. Step five, and finally, you'll get to launch and even have success showed showcased on Times Square. Next slide. So don't just take our words for it. Let's look at some real success stories from our alumni. Ash and Nick launched a furniture flipping course and made over $25,000 in just 45 days. Second, Beyond School sold over 600 courses in the first 2 hours of their launch, thanks to the support they received from our experts and mentors. Ruth Langford, a visionary leader and entrepreneur, has used Graphy to empower over 5,000 women. The next slide. Next slide.
Hmm. Is it
One
got stuck?
second. I think it got stuck. Here we go. So, as you can see here, our results speak for themselves. In the last 3 months, Graphy has helped over 240 individuals create, market, and sell their expertise. Out of those, 197 have graduated. Our graduates have collectively generated over $1.3 million dollars in total gross merchandise volume. To ensure everyone gets the dedicated attention they need, we limit our registrations to just 20 participants per boot camp. Next slide. So, what's included? When you join the bootcamp, here's what you get. First, free 1 month access to tools. This includes our website and course builder, email marketing tools, webinar funnels, and unlimited landing pages and Zoom classes. Second, a 4 day workshop. This is where you learn how to create, market, and sell your courses effectively. Third, certifications, where you'll gain official recognition for completion of the program. And the fourth point, inclusive promotion. You'll get the chance to showcase your launch on Times Square. The last, personalized support. You'll receive a personalized onboarding session with our dedicated customer success manager. Next slide. Pricing and registrations. The full price of the bootcamp is normally $49, but for a limited time, we are offering a 90% discount. Marketing the price is just 49. Oh, I was wrong. It's $499. So right now it's 90% discount, marking the price just $49. To reserve your
49,
spot,
yeah.
yes. To reserve your spot, all you need to do is pay a small fee of $20, which comes with a money back guarantee. This allows us to ensure we have the most committed participants and helps you secure your place in the program. So we'll have,
I'm going to do this. Sounds like a
yes,
real bargain.
yes, so we'll have our teams, putting this Stripe link for the payment, so you can secure your slot by paying $20, and you'll get a chance to book your one-on-one call with one of our experts. And yes, from there we can take it forward. So this is your chance to build a strong foundation, guys, and scale your digital business with expert guidance. So we look forward to seeing you at the Power 20 Bootcamp and helping you achieve your goals. So while everybody is signing up, let's see if we have any questions. Yeah, just 1 second, Charlie. Okay, so we do have two questions. So first is, what's something your community taught you that shaped your brand or the way you showed up online?
Yes. So this is going back a little while to after I first got identified as autistic and I set up the Awesome Charlie Twitter account.
Mm-hmm.
What I discovered there is that there are a lot of people who don't like the neurodiversity movement and that are actively trying to sabotage it. So they are outnumbered, in my opinion, by people who are proudly autistic and are neurodiversity advocates. But there's this small group of people who really don't like it. So when I first started getting engrossed in neurodiversity social media, I was constantly arguing with these people. And it not only did it drain my energy and make me feel quite anxious, but also I realized that I wasn't doing myself any favors if I wanted to be online and build a brand, that I needed to do it by leading by example. So I started talking about my own values and what matters to me, sharing my experiences, uh, interacting with other people whose content was good and signal boosting them, and just not interacting with the people who were determined to work against the neurodiversity movement and were basically negative trolls. And it took me a really long time to kind of pull away from that. And even if you go to other social media, even LinkedIn, where people have more of a professional veneer, you'll still find the trolls. And it still isn't a good look if you kind of go into battle with them. So that taught me a little about intentionality and carefully curating how I come across. And it also improved my mental health and well-being at the same time.
Okay, all right. That was a really nice answer, Charlie. So we do have another question that is, where do you see Awesome Charlie going next? Any new directions or projects you're excited about?
Yeah. So this has to be the global thing, the international. So I am a member of the Professional Speaking Association UK and Ireland, but as I'm in that, I'm also indirectly part of the Global Speakers Federation, and I've joined the Virtual Speaking Association as well, which is international. So these are communities where if I get involved, because really you get what you take out. You know, you can't just go and take things out of this and not put something back. But if I get really involved in this, then that will definitely open doors for more international travel. So I've already been doing speaking events internationally, mainly the USA and Canada, and some in Europe over online like this. But I want to be a international jet-setting speaker when my kids are grow. I was going to say when I grow up, but I am going to be 50 in January, so actually
Oh,
when my kids are grown. So I went to the Professional Speaking Association Summit in October, and
mhm.
there were people there from the Global Speakers Federation, and I was doing musical jam sessions with them. So leaning into I'm not just a speaker, but also a bass player and a bit of a rock star, I was then able to make some big global connections, which will help move those uh, that geographical limitation that I currently have.
Okay. I mean, Charlie, like you mentioned, you're about to turn 50 and you don't look like you're gonna turn 50 to me. I thought
Thank you.
you're about around 30s or something like that. But
Yeah, must be the
damn.
Zoom soft filter and the lighting.
Oh no,
But
come
yeah.
on.
No, I am told I look young for my age. I think that's a common trait with autistic people as well. So,
Hmm. I
Also,
understand.
it's doing stuff that I think is fun. It helps keep me young. So I was speaking at an HR conference last week and I cosplayed Harley Quinn and I did
Hmm.
my speech dressed as Harley Quinn and stuff like that. Knowing how to have fun, it does keep us young.
That's really nice to, look younger than your age. I get told as well a lot of times. I am 24. I People tell me that I'm still in school, like
Yeah,
around.
I could
Yes.
believe that. Yeah.
Yes. So we do have our third question. That is, do you have any particular formula or must-haves for when you write a LinkedIn post?
Yeah. So yeah, I constantly go back and edit it and think I didn't credit enough other people or I've made a grammatical error. But generally, what I find is that it's better for me if I can uh, have a thought and then expand that thought a little and then post. So I strike while the iron is hot, kind of thing. I don't spend a lot of time overthinking it because otherwise the moment would pass. It's a very
Yeah.
ADHD thing, I think. I've got an opinion and it has to come out. But I have, I do rarely think, oh, I shouldn't have posted that at all. And if I do, it's posts where I'm calling somebody out. I have done that from time to time, and then I'm thinking this isn't a good look for me. So it's very much about the parts of myself that I want to show to what is basically my shop front, my LinkedIn, whilst still resonating with my community and helping people.
Okay. Okay. I can relate a bit on that as well. Is I usually do not post anything on my LinkedIn profile, but of course I do talk about it to a lot of people whom I can relate with, right? So I completely understand on that part as well. So I really think a lot of times before saying anything, and then later I think about, oh, I don't think I should have said that. And sometimes I would be like, oh, I should have said this instead of that. And like
Yeah,
there's a lot of overthinking happening.
I
But
think we all do
anyways,
that in real life, especially if we've got communication differences due to autism or ADHD. So it's kind of unsurprising that that passes over to social media as well.
yeah.
So I do kind of make a kind of a deal of saying I am autistic. It's literally a social communication disability. So if I have come across wrong, I it's not like making excuses for it, but it is saying there is a mitigation. I don't always explain myself well, but then taking accountability. So if I've phrased something badly and upset somebody, I will
Hmm.
try and blame autism. I'll say, oh, I explained that wrong. I'm sorry I upset you or something. So it's kind of acknowledging our limitations while remaining accountable for our behavior.
Yes, yes, I understand that. So, there's next question. So, do you have doubts? You said something recently about to upset you, you'd first have to value their opinion. And I, for one, have held back for a while because so many people have said I can't or shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. So this is one of my friends from my neurodivergent speakers WhatsApp community.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, uh, I I have sometimes had doubts about my approach when I've seen other people within my industry get paid more or doing higher profile talks. But then I've thought about how I'm organically growing my business and my platform, and that I'm always getting good feedback, and that I'm sought after as a speaker, that I'm building a good reputation, and that I'm reliable and I always do what I say I'm going to do. And I won't just write any old thing on social media that parrots other people who talk about the same topic. It's always things that I really think and feel or that I really want people to know about. So I've had to kind of shake off the idea that some people might see my content and roll their eyes or take the mickey out of me or just not appreciate it and just keep doing what I'm
Yeah.
doing and think about all the people that are saying this is really helpful. Now, the person that's asked the question, I happen to know, was
Hmm.
pretty shy and tentative when I met him on LinkedIn. And since joining this community where we do support each other and we do signal boost each other, he started to write, and what he writes is really insightful and helpful. So I'm hoping that the confidence I've got with the image I project and the content that I post is having like a ripple effect to increasing the confidence of others within my space.
All right, all right. Well, the question was asked by David Bedford.
Mhm.
Hello, David. So yes, and I'm really happy, David, that you gone past what you were scared of. Anyways, so that's really a good thing, and I hope I personally one day would also go past that as well. So all strengths to you. So next question. So we have from Pamela, that is, how do you handle self-doubts early in your career?
How do I handle self-doubt? How did I
Yes.
handle it early in my career? Yeah, not very well. So, I'm as I have ADHD and autism, I have received a lot of negative messaging throughout my life, and including bullying. And I have that rejection sensitivity, and I have complex PTSD, so I'm constantly hypervigilant to perceived danger. So that could be feeling like someone doesn't like me or is out to get me. So there's a lot to deal with there. And I have had to rationalize it. So this is a process where you kind of try to intercept those negative automatic thoughts and rather than just listening to your thoughts, actually challenge them and think, am I overreacting here? Or should I even care about what this person thinks? And it is a discipline. They teach it in a therapy called cognitive behavior therapy, which I've dabbled in a little bit, but mainly through self-help books. But it is about recognizing those thought traps like catastrophizing and having negative automatic thoughts like thinking people aren't going to like me or they're not going to like what I'm saying, and challenging that and rationalizing it. And if you can get into that habit, then it's easier to not dwell on that stuff and to then be more prolific and not lying awake thinking, what if that was the wrong thing to say or to post? But it also comes with age. So yes, I was bullied for being weird and different when I was younger, but now that I'm 49, nearly 50, I don't care what those people think anymore. If people are going to just be mean to others, it says more about them than it does about me. So I shrug it off now. It doesn't bother me.
Oh my God. Okay, okay, Charlie. So these are things that I related when you mentioned about bullying. So, of course, on my school days, I used to get bullied as well for a lot of different reasons, and for my name as well, of course, being an Asian country, right? So, that was part of me that I could not get over, and also about overthinking, right? So, I personally used to go through similar issues in my life when I was a kid. And of course, I cannot go and complain to anybody else about, oh, this person's bullying me. I need help with something. And that would become a different thing altogether in my school, particularly. So that was a big thing that I had to, you know, get through and I get over with. So, yes. And I'm really happy that I don't overthink a lot as much as I used to do before. where I used to be like, oh my God, I don't know what this person's gonna think if I said certain
Yeah.
things right now. So instead, I would just be like, oh, what's gonna happen? I'll just, say this, and then it's gonna be either option A or option B. So I can just go ahead and say it anyways, right? So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good. If I do find myself ruminating too much about something, then I tend to write a blog. And I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had to do that much recently, but while I was going through more difficult times in my life, if I lay awake thinking about a particular thing, I found that if I write about it, that I
Mm-hmm.
can put a full stop on the end, and then it stops it spinning around my head quite so much.
All right. All right. So we do have Ed saying that I'd just like to thank Charlie. They have been a great support.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Ed. And they are another friend from my neurodivergent speakers WhatsApp community, and
Mm-hmm.
they are they are a really blossoming neurodiversity advocate on social media. And thank you for being here, Ed, and keep doing what you're doing.
It's really nice to see all of your friends over here, Charlie, supporting you, and it's really nice. Shout out to you guys. So, let's go ahead and give shout out to people who have signed up. So I see Toby is in, Tom J is in, and Ed as well.
Cool.
Welcome to Power 20 Bootcamp, Ed, Laurie, Melanie as well. So I think we'll be getting in touch with Melanie. So
Oh,
yes, we do
brilliant.
have quite a lot of people who have signed up as well. So alrighty,
I'm
so
going to
keep
do it as
signing.
well. Yeah, it sounds really good.
Perfect. Looking forward to having you as well, Charlie, for on this Part 20 boot camp. So yes, before and yes, Charlie is in from my team. So we do have a few slots left. So for that, we'll be here on the chat for about 5 more minutes. So if anyone would is interested still to sign up, you can sign up on the link that is mentioned over the chat. So yes, thank you so much, Charlie, for this amazing session today. It was really insightful. So I really got a lot that I am taking away from this session as well. So I'll be connecting with you on LinkedIn
Brilliant.
again, and I
Yeah,
hope we stay in
nice
touch
to
on
see you
LinkedIn as well.
again. Yeah, and thank you very much for hosting this webinar. It's been fun.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.